Morning, class.
Good morning.
So I know I don't really seem like the artsy kind of person, which I'm not really. Fine art and all that kind of stuff, I've never really got into it. But I did find a niche that worked for me. I've been an avid skater since I was a little kid. Still am when I find the time. But recently I picked up this hobby, well, not recently, over the past couple of years I picked up this hobby of making my own skateboards. Not from scratch, starting with the wood and everything, but buying a blank skateboard, sanding it down, painting it, covering it, and making it to a finished product that I will then use, abuse, and probably break. So, so the history of street art is, graffiti is actually the original street art. You've all seen it on the street corners, people selling their art, making wonderful works of art out of spray paint, using nothing but Tupperware, pieces of wood, a couple pieces of paper. And they sell them $5, $10, $15 wherever, every single city, right? But graffiti has descended beyond just writing on walls. It encompasses stickers, signs, markers, markings, etchings, spray painting, actually painting. It encompasses, it's a wider area. Graffiti is actually illegal in most cities. I'm sure all of you know that. But in the city of San Antonio, the ordinance says that graffiti shall mean any unauthorized inscription, word, letter, figure, symbol, or design visible from a public space or public right-of-way. Meaning, anything that is not allowed is considered graffiti. Anything that's considered art on a wall that's nobody has ever said, hey, you can put this here, I want you to put this here, I own it, you know, make a mural, put your name, whatever. It's technically illegal, but there are some circumstances where the owner of the building or of the truck or the train or whatever says, hey, I want you to paint all over it. I want this to become a work of art. That's when it starts to move over to from illegal back to legal. Probably still get stopped by the cops, but you know, you have permission, so it's perfectly fine. The origins of spray paint art, back when it was still, you know, just a sprouting idea, was by a man named Ruben Sabat Fernandez in Mexico City in the early 1980s. He started with doing space. He would get a piece of plywood and make a fascinating space landscape using tin cans and other pieces of wood. It's technically still stayed the same, but it has transcended to a different part where it's no longer just a piece of paper. People make their own tools, people make their own designs, everything. Everything is reusable and everything can be used. Art itself comes from the soul, right? Art is a form of expression that has been used from the dawn of time and will continue to be used until we're all dead and gone. And that's sometimes that's the only thing that'll be left. What art actually means to me is, I have tattoos all over the place, and I will continue to get more tattoos until I'm dead, until I'm gone. I'll still have tattoos. I like to visit tattoo conventions. I like to buy art pieces that people that have never been real professional artists, they're just starting, like to fund, you know, all the beginning artists in their craft, because something that should be cherished, something that should shape and helps mold the world in a way that is, you know, culturally, societally, all that good stuff. So when I picked this up as a hobby, it was just between me and my girlfriend. We decided we were going to buy a couple boards, sand them down, do all that good stuff, and I ended up buying 10 of them. At one point in time, we were going to screw them all together, put them on a wall, build a big old mural, and all that good stuff. Still plan on doing it, just haven't really had the time with the weather and everything going on. But, so I can't really show you exactly how to do it, because as you know, paint is toxic. And in this enclosed space, it wouldn't be allowed, so I figured I'd just go ahead and show you a couple of the processes with starting to make your own design and effects that you can use and how to, get exactly what you want out of what you make, right? So you're gonna start off with a blank skateboard and you're gonna sand it down. I don't have any sandpaper with me. It deteriorates and it's easy to find. Everybody has sandpaper somewhere, but so you're gonna sand it down, because there's a glossy surface on the top of it that you're gonna have to get rid of to get down to the real wood. So you're gonna sand it down, make sure it's nice and smooth, and make sure it's dry. If, for whatever reason, you can't get all of it off, you can always use paint stripper. Paint stripper works real well, but after you use the paint stripper, you have to make sure it's dry. Otherwise the paint will bubble, it just won't set right. So, once you have it all sanded down, it's nice and smooth, you can then apply either a base coat. Usually people stick with white or black. For this one I chose green, just because, it's a nice vibrant color, I like it. I haven't decided exactly what I'm gonna do next on this one. I kind of messed up because some grass got into it, but that's just the way it goes. Once you get your base coat and it's nice and dry, actually you don't even have to wait until it's dry. You can start adding other layers of paint that'll go along with it and make it set in real well. If you have the design in mind that you want, you can use tape like I have on this one, or you can make a stencil out of cardboard paper or construction paper. Lay it down, tape it down, do a nice, good, even coat all the way across. And then you remove it, or you can add more to it, stick with colors, base colors with a design on top of it, spray another piece, you take that piece of paper off, now you have a color with you have the design in one color and the actual color on the opposite of it to make it contrast really well. Some of these are still in production, so I apologize. This one was a big old mistake. So we used this tape at the time we were going to try to fix this, but at this point it's just a lost cause. The only thing that we can really do would be to sand it down in order to get the design correct, I guess, or whatever I was looking forward to doing with this one. Sanding it down flat again, starting all over with the base coat, then working with the design, adding another piece, more layers of paint, and all of that. Then, once you have a design that you have in place, this one's actually my girlfriend's that she did. Once you have the design in place, she had to paint, like actually paint with like a paintbrush and everything, because sometimes it just doesn't sit right. You're not going to get it right every single time. Once she's done with this one, we're going to remove all the tape, add the special effects, whether it be using a spray can, holding it down for a couple of seconds until it starts dripping, and then just splattering it on there, making a nice little effect of, I guess, twinkles, one would call it, or some sort of spotty effect onto it. You can also add a paint, like an actual paintbrush, dab some paint on that, use the bristles to flick it on there, also adds the same effect. There's splashes, there's drips, there's all kinds of fun things that you can do using spray paint. And once you have the final product that you want and that you want to keep as it is, you're gonna have to find yourself either some glow-in-the-dark paint like I have, just to make it even a cooler effect, you know what I mean? And if you don't want to do that and you like it the way that it is, you're just going to get some clear coat, add a layer of it, make sure it's nice and dry, add another layer of it. Then once that is completely dry, then you have your finished product, which would be a design all by you, that is personally handcrafted by yourself. So in conclusion, ultimately, art is just a medium, a way of expressing yourself in whichever form that it decides to take. It helps you share your feelings. There are various art styles to choose from, dozens of ways to express yourself. Pick one that suits you, or pick one that interests you in some sort of way, and just go with the flow, see what happens. Creativity can fly, can fall. Doesn't really matter as long as you give it a shot. Once you have finished, then you can look back at that piece of art that you had completed all by your own two hands, by yourself. It brings a sort of proud feeling to you. And there's no better feeling than that.